What is up, everybody? You know what it is. Love and Listings after show. So Andrew shuts down the rumors about him and Anjani. Jacob unfortunately doesn't pass his real estate exam. And Lord have mercy, Taylor doesn't know who Jermaine Dupri is. Let's go. Let's get it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, man. He said, oh, man.
Oh,
What is up, everybody? You know what it is. Love and Listings after show. We in here. Thank you so much for starting late, but you know how it is. The best is yet to come.
Better late than never.
I've been your host always, every single time you've seen me, Lem Gonsavles. And next to me is the amazing, the incomparable, looking like an angel. Angele is in the building.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. And this one over here,
Right here.
always got something to say.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Never without nothing to say. Neema Skye in the building.
SKYE.
Yeah. And the dance extraordinaire, she always got moves for you for days. Shannon O'Connor in the building.
What's up, what's up?
She skywalks and she moonwalks.
Here we go.
Sidewalk.
And I moonwalk.
Yeah, always.
Hey, if you're lucky, you'll see
Yeah.
that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's guest time. It's guest time. It's guest time. Ladies and gentlemen, this brother's out here trying to make some major moves.
Hey.
West Coast hip hop would not be what it is now if it wasn't for his family.
Hey.
And he's just an all-around good dude. Jacob Knight in the building.
How you guys doing? AfterBuzz, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. You know, I know everybody's been waiting to ask me questions.
Yo, I was like, at first I was like, what is he doing?
Right.
Is he okay? Like, right. No, he had to make his entrance.
Turn around like the Godfather.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, man, Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, man. Here we're just gonna break down this episode and talk to you. First of all, I just want to chime in and how's it been with the show now? It's halfway through the season. What's been the response like with you and everything you got going on?
Oh man, it's actually incredible. You know, it's like I'm seeing people actually like me. You know, I know some people are getting pissed off that I'm saying like I'm Suge Knight's son every 5 seconds, but it's like I'm Suge Knight's son. I gotta let people know. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, but at the same thing, thank you. At the same time, it's like it's just I'm providing hope. I'm giving out hope to the world. You know, people who didn't have fathers growing up, they're like appreciating that. It's humanizing my father, and that's like one of my biggest goals.
Yeah.
Word. I think it's great because I think one of the things is we definitely get to see a great relationship with you two, and obviously there's times that you've gotten emotional. And I feel that because I can't imagine, you know, being close to your father and then having him away and can't see him on a regular basis
On TV.
and just talking to him on the phone. So I can imagine what that would be like. But I think you're representing great, and I think you know what your plight. You always say you want to change the narrative of the legacy and you want to put positivity out there, and I think you're doing it. Y'all agree?
Thank you so much. For real. Just trying to provide
What do
hope.
y'all think?
I think it's so cool, and I know we're gonna talk about this. I hate to push the button, but I love that moment when you have that conversation with your dad, about not passing your exam, and your dad was like, "Listen, son, I'm proud of you, no matter what." Like, I feel like no matter what happens, like your father always shows you that he has that support, and like he's like proud of you.
He know me. He know I was like, I knew the colors of them girls' underwear, but I didn't know the answers to that text. You feel me? Like that was really him talking, and that's like, I had to wake up,
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Let's get into this episode because there's a lot to unpack. Right?
I'm not a creep, by the way. I'm not a creep. That's weird.
There's a lot to unpack. I want to kind of get from you because there was a moment, it kind of carried over from the last episode, right? This is the saga, I like to say saga, with Andrew and Anjani, right? And there was a moment right there, right, where Andrew tells her, in quotes, "Now that I have you alone."
Yeah.
And then they hug, right? And then we see the camera cut. Now we know how reality show is, right? They like to create the drama. But I want to get from you all, I'll start with you, Angele. What do you think about like that whole situation, the way they kind of putting it out there?
I love Andrew, but knowing how it would look and knowing what everyone is saying or insinuating or even thinking, that just didn't sound good, and it just wasn't a good look. And the type of embrace he gave her too. That's not a I'm engaged embrace. That's a I'm single embrace.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a little extra on the embrace. Maybe it was the editing part of it. Maybe she was having a heartfelt moment.
Okay.
And they caught the embrace as it was a heartfelt moment. But I'm going to give that to him because I know he's a stand-up dude and I know he's down for Jalissa. So I'm just going to give him like, okay, the editing was messed up on that part.
On that particular scene.
Yeah, I agree with that because they all said your voice is recorded even when like your scene isn't happening, and so I think it was totally put like out of context because it sounded kind of sketchy. I don't know, and the whole thing, and it was like a slow-mo hug, so they like slowed it down to make it look more sensual. So I think Andrew, you're freaking innocent, and you're
definitely innocent. Yeah, I mean, again, like we always talk about the editing part, they have to find juicy moments to make because I feel like from the beginning of the whole episode, like we've been seeing the story between Angele and Andrew, and I feel like they're just trying to give us that more juice to kind of keep us focused on that relationship. But I really feel like Andrew is a very heartfelt dude. Of course, we've seen that throughout this entire episode. And I think that he was just saying, now that I have you alone, of course, he's a very heartwarming individual. So I think that he wanted to kind of open up with a hug to whatever it is that he had to say to her. He didn't want her to feel bad about it or whatever. But again, we also see that throughout the beginning of every episode, Andrew's definitely portrayed as someone who's always trying to make sure that, morals and ethics are always on cue.
On point. Well, I mean, there's obviously, we see the theme throughout the episode. I want to get to the point where we see Jacob and he's talking to Ty, and he's talking to you about your real estate exam.
I also want to throw in for Andrew, black men don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there. Black men are faithful. You feel me?
Black men don't cheat. That's right.
Come on, bro. Shit.
Get it. We got it.
That's cool.
Hey, that's what's going on.
I don't know.
It's a hashtag.
Come on.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
If it's a hashtag, it's real.
It's real.
It's a real hashtag.
Moving on.
I'll break up with you.
Jacob has spoken. Black men don't cheat, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Already.
Now.
And I'm very divorced.
I mean, it's new now. Like it just started that way. It just started that way.
I support my black men don't cheat.
Thank you. So we see you with Ty. You're talking about taking your real estate exam, and you're feeling pressure about this test. Now, when we had Taylor here a couple of weeks ago, she was kind of breaking down that the test is no joke. Like, it's really difficult.
Hell no, man.
And a lot of people don't pass the first time, or the second, or sometimes third time around. So, obviously, you're trying to put yourself out there. They've kind of been harping on you about, like, yo, you need to get your license if you're trying to make moves. And, of course, there's a lot of pressure. Plus, I think you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and you can... let me know how that feels.
Honestly, watching the show, watching myself, I notice I am putting a lot of pressure on myself. I'm like, damn, bro, just breathe. Like, I'm even looking at myself like, bro, just breathe, man. Like, shit, dude. Like, but I think it's just because, in the real estate, a luxury market, you're trying to get that quick money fast. You're trying to be quick. Plus, I'm young, so you're trying to be quick with it, you know? So, like, what was the other question?
No, I was just saying, it wasn't a question. It was just basically saying, just to expound on the sense of, of you putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Heck yeah.
Because it seems like that's what's happening. And I mean, I think
I'm about to cut you off. I'm putting a lot. Some of it is like unnecessary pressure too, though. I'm noticing by getting older. That's why I'm like watching this show. I'm watching myself like, oh snap, I'm getting better with this. Okay,
right.
Like
Do you feel like you were trying to overcompensate because of your age and because of who your father is and because of just the show overall? Like you're trying to overcompensate?
Nah, yeah, kind of, sort of, but like more just I don't know. I'm just an overachiever. Like my pops, he an overachiever, and my family real competitive. I got competitive cousins. I got, you know what I'm saying. So we like, I'm coming from, exactly. Like, it's like
you better do what you're supposed to do.
It's just some shit. Like I got a football scholarship. I got an academic scholarship. I did this. I did big. It's that type of shit.
I see. So when you were talking that moment when we did see you talking to your father, and at that point you know that you didn't pass, and you're kind of talking to him, and he basically was giving you the pep talk that we've seen him do before. Did you feel like he added pressure at that moment, or was he kind of just letting you know, like, look, you just got to keep it moving?
Oh shit, you kind of release the pressure off me, because when I don't talk to him, that's like the messed up part. I overthink. That's my problem. I overthink, and I'm like, for people who take the test, that shit is like, when you overthink, don't do it. Like just go in there. You're supposed to just know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So talking to my pops, it's like after hearing him, it's more like, okay, you know, if he cool, I'm cool. Plus, he always say some cool shit to me.
Right.
He be like, man, if I'm happy in here, what the fuck you mess out there for? So
Right, exactly.
I'm like, shit. I'm like,
Actually, I think you alluded to something like
did.
that. As we were watching, you were just like.
I was like, he could be so negative, and he could be so, like, he could choose to be that way, but he's choosing to, like, be that light and
in the
be,
penitentiary,
like, supportive of you. And giving you great advice. Like, we're watching it like, yes, okay, I'm like, I need to write this down.
Exactly.
And like,
Basically, he's showing that you don't have to be you don't have to be a great, like, you don't always have to be there to be a great father. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can just, no matter what it is, you can be at the moon, but shit, you can make sure that your kids have to, like, some encouraging words. You're good. And that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
It's true.
He did that.
We do see that going back to Andrew, there we see that, you know, Taylor gives him the news, right, of the rumor, right, the rumor, and so, which we know is false because black men don't cheat, right?
Don't cheat.
Yeah.
Except Kobe.
Wait, Jacob, you can't. You gotta like keep it moving.
I mean,
Black men don't work.
Kobe ain't really like Kobe ain't American black though. Like he ain't like, feel me?
Right, exactly.
You feel me?
Born in Spain or something. Yeah, exactly. No, Italy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exception.
So it's different. It's different, right? Exception. International.
Oh my God.
We don't have no control over that.
Right, we don't.
Just saying. So we see that, you know, Taylor is talking to Andrew about the situation. Doesn't want to name any names, but of course he's feeling some kind of way, right?
Right.
And then they're getting ready to show this house to Jermaine Dupri, and so it causes Andrew to be off his game. Like he's completely off his game.
Yeah.
And so he's feeling some kind of way. She's kind of having to step up to the plate to kind of, you know, help him out, you know, essentially. And it's out of his character, but he's so much in his head.
Right.
And Neema, I wanted to get from you, what did you think in that moment for Andrew? Like, did you feel for him?
I did, because I kind of saw both sides. I felt like Taylor was really, really trying to give him the honesty about the situation, you know, just to kind of inform him, you know, hey, you know, like, you're my friend and I want to kind of put you on game. However, I also kind of felt like Taylor didn't really evaluate the situation to say that maybe I should have talked to him later about this, you know, and also be able to talk to him about it in a different way, because she was still trying to save Sarah, which I get it, it's her girl, but at the end of the day, it's like you can't drop a bomb on somebody about someone that they love,
right,
and then be like, oh, well, I'm gonna take a selfie, and so I ain't telling you who it is, but I mean, it was just, again, love Taylor, she's a super boss. It's just the way that it was done. I don't think that it was done in a very great way, because then it basically made him emotional. And you know, at that time, like, whenever you're getting ready to walk into a cell, you need to be focused on, you know, on the game, you know.
Sure.
And anytime somebody drops something like that on you, like, it's obviously going to get you off your game, you know, 100%. So I think that she meant well. I just think that her presentation about it and the timing was completely off.
Bad.
Yeah,
and he did kind of tell her after the fact. He's like, yo, yeah, I understand, you know, you have my back. You're trying to let me know what's up, but that was just poor timing.
Yeah.
Especially with a celebrity client as big as Jermaine Dupri, you want to be on your game.
Oh, Taylor didn't know.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I was like, yo, what are you doing? I did not know Jermaine Dupri. Like, he literally, like, he's produced for everybody.
But, like, you have to think about the era, though.
Yeah.
Like, that was before her.
Yeah, but still, like,
her time.
Like, you could like Tupac. Tupac's been gone for a while, but I bet she knows who Tupac is.
Okay,
plus I said he was alive, so you know.
You said what?
I said he was alive.
Plus, he said Tupac.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
he did.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But
kind of revamped it.
Tupac's kind of like a legend. He's kind of like on a Michael Jackson level.
But, I mean, the bottom line is, somebody like that, you should know.
Jermaine Dupri,
you know,
is like, I mean, like, especially for our culture.
He's a legend for us.
Jermaine Dupri needs a lot of credit. He up there.
Exactly.
But like, I think he's more like relative to our era. Like,
I see what you're saying. Like,
I'm an 80s baby, so I came up and listening to music in the 90s and the early 2000s, and he was more relevant then than he is, like, per se now.
I get what you're saying,
now
because
he's
Jermaine
behind the scenes, like, super behind the scenes now. He's always been behind the scenes, but He's super behind the scenes.
I feel like when you get behind the scenes like that, you kind of made it.
Absolutely.
Because if you out there, you got to get out there first for people to like
to know who you are. You got to make your signature.
For real.
You got to be dancing in music videos and stuff.
Yeah, but still, regardless, I don't give Taylor no excuses.
You don't
for
give
that.
her no
I can't give her back because I can name 5 people that are not in her era that she would still know who it is. So that's all I'm just saying. Okay. And I bet you if you ask her now, she's like, oh yeah, they made the breed. I know who it is. Yeah. You know, whatever. Yeah. Maybe
she Googled him right after that segment.
Exactly. And knows exactly. So I want to divert to our guest. Jacob, when you're, we talk about these listings, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen kind of, one thing I love about the show, and I think we said this to Andrew when he was here, we get the best of both worlds, right? We get the relationship between you as workers, cast members, but we also get the business side of showing a property and how intense it can be. You obviously, are stepping into that role, and you've been there for some of these pitches. What is that like?
What?
When you're basically pitching to a celebrity client, and you got like a multi-million-dollar property.
Bro, to be honest, man, it's pretty much like this. You got to get the feel of what the celebrity want, and you just kind of get, based off what type of listing you get, you just got to work what you got, and you pretty much, as a real estate agent, I feel like your job is finding buyers. Right. That's how I look at it. I'm just looking for people who want to buy houses, or I'm selling. Matter of fact, scratch that. I'm selling a lifestyle. And everybody who lives in a different house is a different lifestyle. Yeah. So it's just like with celebrities, you got to see what kind of lifestyle that celebrity lives. Right. Some are secluded, some are out there. So
that's where you're at.
Yeah.
I think it's also good to see basically when you have someone like Jermaine Dupri, or like you showed a house to Brandy, and you're looking at that and you make that correlation. I like how you're like, I think it's good to learn the sales aspect of it. And then, because I think sales is sales, but like you said, you're selling a lifestyle, so your job is to sell what they want.
Exactly.
So it's not just the house, it's this closet, or it's the view,
the shower.
And not to cut you off, plus I'm still learning, it's like different techniques or different approaches why people buy. Some people buy all this cash, some people have the finance options, so you got to give people your options, but not too many options, because too many options will make somebody go away.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
They get
Or
overwhelmed.
they'll try to underbuy you, or they're always trying to know all that.
Right.
So it's just like, I'm still learning stuff, but it's out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, before we get to our next topic, Miss Angela, something to say to our viewers.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys, and thank you for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. If you're watching us here on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and any other show that you may watch. If you watch it, we cover it. And also, if you are on iTunes, please give us 5 stars, and on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Get into the comments. We'll shout you out right here on air. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yeah. All right. So we see the scene where Andrew goes to his boo, his fiance, Julissa.
I love that.
And he walks in and he's like, "Hey, got to talk to you."
Yeah.
And he just, he's like, tells her about the rumor that's going around between him and Anjani, and of course she's just like, is it true? And he tells her no, and then she's like, all right, well, you need to dead it. That's what you need to do.
Yep.
Because if it's not true, then they shouldn't be saying anything about it. You just dead it and then just move on. Because you all are women. Shannon, what would you do in that situation? How would you handle that situation?
I've never been in that situation, but I feel like I would have acted sort of similar. Like, why would people make up this rumor? Like, there must be some sort of something happening that makes people think that way, that something's going on between you guys. So I would be kind of skeptical of my partner, but then I'd also be like, okay, put it all to rest. I think I'd act pretty similar.
Shannon says, where there's smoke, there's fire, right, Shannon?
So you think somebody's burning?
Wait, no.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
No, because I feel like I would trust my fiance. I mean, I'd hope at that point. So I feel like at the end of the day, I trust what he said. If he said nothing's going on, nothing's going on. Yeah.
Well, what are you talking about, the smoke and fire?
Well, no, because she was saying first that, like, where are they coming from? It must be something to it. So I was saying that she was saying that there was smoke and fire. Yeah. There must be something to it if they're talking about it.
Like, I would be skeptical, but then if he's telling me legit nothing is happening, then I'd say,
and you obviously trust him.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's your husband. Yeah. Or soon-to-be husband.
Exactly.
I think it's very interesting that there's two relationships involved in this dead the issue situation. There's Kat saying dead the issue with Samantha, don't be talking about your dick to her. And then there's the whole Anjani situation with Jalissa and Andrew, dead that situation. So I thought this was a good relationship segment here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with that. We do see that after this happens, there's the barbecue, right?
Yes.
So everybody, one thing about this show, we see that everybody ends up together at the end of the episode, right?
Right.
So it's like, all right, we're going to kumbaya, and it's going to go down.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, or it's going to be terrible. Something's going to happen. And so everybody shows up at a barbecue that seems like Zach put together out on the beach. And so there's a lot of things that take place.
Yeah.
We do see, speaking of Zach and Samantha, Zach kind of pulls her aside and, says, let me holler at you. And, in so many words, basically says, look, I shouldn't have said what I said the way I said it, but the reason why is this. Bottom line is, I want you to respect my girlfriend. You can't have me, like that saying. And she's like, well, I feel like I can. She still was sticking to it. And I'm like, girl, just stop. But he's basically like, that's I have my girlfriend, and that's all. And I just want to move on, as coworkers or what have you.
Right.
So I felt, good in that sense. I feel like Samantha was still pushing, and if it was a different situation where he's like, you know what, I think I may want to explore something, she would be so with it.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but again, I think the conversation really got out of hand, when they kind of went for the whole sex talk, because I think Samantha was saying, yeah, I know that we were upset with each other, but then whenever you said something about our sex life, it just kind of made a bigger fire. So I felt like they definitely had to have that conversation. But again,
absolutely.
I don't know if I can say I think that Samantha is taking it overboard in terms of feeling like she's just liking him too much, even though he has a girlfriend. I think that she just feels like there's still chemistry there between them,
But even if you feel like there's chemistry, you still should respect what someone is saying about the boundary.
But I do feel like Samantha is respecting boundaries, because again, I feel like Zach kind of pulled her to the side because he knew that he had to have that conversation with her. But I feel that underneath everything, Samantha's like, okay, I hear what you're saying, I'm going to respect you, but at the end of the day, I still feel like there's some chemistry there, because I felt like even when they had that whole conversation about sex, oh, well, you did this and you did that, you can clearly see the passion between them. You know what I mean? That's all that I'm saying.
Sure. No, it's fine.
Again,
it's fine.
My bad. I was just low-key choking.
All right, let me go to Jacob. Jacob, concerning this situation, and I'll put you on the hot seat in a second, but just for the situation, what is your opinion about what we see, what's going on? Do you feel like Samantha is right in saying what she's saying about she can have him anytime, or do you think Zach is fine with what he said about having a girlfriend?
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, Samantha's cool and Zach is cool. I mean, people, they all grown. They know what they doing. They know what they doing.
They know what they doing. They adults.
You know that chemistry. You know when somebody, hey, right, what it do? What's up?
Right. I get it. I'm gonna let you go through your situation with your girl, but and again, it's all. Everybody reads energy, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying anybody's a bad person. I'm just saying I really, as women, we know that even though a guy may be in a relationship and maybe you've had something, at some point, you may still feel like there's still chemistry there.
Yeah.
Just because there's chemistry doesn't mean...
And I'm not saying anything about her acting on it, right? I definitely feel like she's being respectful. To note, I feel like Samantha's being respectful, but just because she feels like there's chemistry there, I don't feel like she's being disrespectful. Like if you feel like you have chemistry between somebody, even though they're in a relationship, that's just how you feel.
So, but I think the issue is, for at least for Zach's sense, is that regardless if there's chemistry, let's say that there is, and I agree that there is,
right?
There's a past, right? They were dated, whatever,
a whole relationship.
The bottom line is for you to verbalize that out in front of people when you know that someone's in a relationship. I think that's where he's like, that needs to be a line that's drawn. And I think with her, because it started with what she was saying in the bathroom, what we saw in the other episode at the party.
But nobody knew that.
Well, he heard it,
right?
And then he approached her, and she doubled down. And so then they got into it, when they were all together. And he said what he said. I think for him, it's just like, look, respect my relationship, and let's just be coworkers. If you feel that there's chemistry, and there could be, then let's just keep that to yourself. I think that's where he's at.
But how is she respecting boundaries when she said, if I wanted you, I could have you? And it's like, if I wanted, like, him sexually, then he would be mine. That's not respecting boundaries for someone that has a girlfriend. If I was his girlfriend, I would feel completely disrespected, and I would tell you that you crossed the boundary.
But you know what? I also feel like she probably said that because the nature of the way that it was presented to her. I feel like maybe if Zach would have pulled her to the side in private, I feel like the direction of that conversation would have went in a completely different tone. I feel like if he would have said, "Hey, Samantha," or I overheard you talking to the girls, about, our conversation, and I kind of feel like you misled them, and just out of respect between me and you, I just kind of feel like if you wouldn't do that, if that's how the conversation would have went, then I feel like it would have been a different tone.
However,
but the fact that when somebody I'm not saying that's not an excuse, but I'm saying the fact that it was done in the open. Yeah, she's gonna be like, well, I can have you if I want to, because it's like you've been put on blast.
Yeah, but remember,
you've been put on blast.
But remember, and I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying.
The first time we saw them talking, it was just them two.
Right.
And she was not respecting. He was basically like, I have a girlfriend. She lives out of town. Oh, really? And she was kind of like, oh yeah, what about your whatever girlfriend? She was already on that level. She was already giving that energy. Right. And it was just them two. So then you have that, and then it spills on over to the party. Then he's like, all right, well, I'm going to confront you in public. So that's how and again, what he said, wasn't the right thing to do. He said it when he was here with us last week.
Right. Yeah.
But that's where it started, and they were in private when it started. So I think the conversation overall was good that it had. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Mr. Jacob, there was someone that was cozying up to you on the beach.
Let's talk about
wanted to give you some tutoring lessons.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Miss Sarah, she decided, she was like, yeah, you didn't pass, that's a terrible thing, but you know what, I can help you. And you were like, well, what kind of help?
She was just nice. I don't know why everybody gets doing it. She's just nice.
Sarah is my girl. I love her.
She's real nice.
Yeah.
No, she's real nice.
So take us back to that moment. I know it happened forever ago, but take us back to that moment that we saw. She approaches you. Did you guys have a relationship prior to that? Like, did you guys ever hang out, or was it a situation like that? No.
You just knew of each other. Me, and I was just on the beach, sun blowing on me, the wind blowing on me. And she like, you know what? I see you struggling with your test. I got a lot of notes. And, she wanted to share those notes with me. And, just somebody that nice, you just got to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was happy watching it.
For real. Me too. I was smiling like, damn.
I love me some Sarah.
Yeah. Me too.
Sarah's full of life.
Right. Great. I really feel like Sarah was really, really being genuine. Yeah, I do.
So she help you study?
Yeah, she's being genuine.
Okay. Study anatomy or real estate? What were you studying?
It's real estate.
Okay, strictly real estate.
Okay, just one question with that. Even though she was being nice, do you feel like, because the portrayal is that she was flirting with you, do you feel like she was flirting with you?
Nah, I think she's just nice.
She's just nice.
She's just nice like that.
Okay. Yeah. But we did see in the next episode that she gets really nice with you in
you
guys are like up close.
You guys are really nice together.
Yeah. But it's just a preview. Like,
About that.
Place to rest.
About that shit. Yeah. That was just a bet. Like, I mean, it wasn't no bet.
It was a bet.
Nah, it wasn't no bet.
Oh, okay.
It was just like, it was just. It happened in the moment. It was a in the moment type of thing. You know, y'all, I can't spoil it because y'all got to see the next episode.
And we grown, right, Jacob?
And plus, shit, like, what? I mean, and we grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, she not ugly.
We grown.
She not ugly either. So it's like, she cool.
She's right.
Yeah.
She's a pretty girl.
Word. Well, okay. Well, Sarah's gonna be here.
She real healthy.
Yeah,
that's all I say.
And Jacob also said that her thickness is well distributed too.
Okay. Okay.
I said that.
I mean, in so many words, yeah.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I'll say that in my head.
We like Sarah.
Oh man. She's gonna be here next week with Sam. Actually,
Shout out Sarah.
That's gonna be dope.
Shout out Sarah.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. All right, so we see the closeout. Andrew gets his piece.
Yes.
And we were talking before the show, and you know, I know Andrew personally, and I know him through poetry. And I texted him after I watched this. I was like, bruh, you was dropping bars.
Yes, he was.
So I was like,
we were snapping.
yo.
Andrew doesn't like snaps.
Right.
Sorry, my bad. Don't do the snap. But no, he was dropping bars. Do you remember what he said?
Yes, he did.
What?
He said, I love God, but my woman is my religion.
He said, I believe in God.
Yeah, yes.
But
she's my religion.
Okay, so what does that mean?
He's basically just saying, like, I understand who God is, but when it comes to my religion, she's my everything.
He worships her.
So basically, so she's my religion. She's my everything.
Beautiful.
That is. Yeah.
So, and in a nutshell, he's basically saying, and I felt him, you know, in that moment. I told him, I was like, yo, like, I felt you because I understand what it is to be unjustly accused of something, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a rumor or whether somebody saw something that, you know, wasn't really what it was. And then it's speaking on you, and you guys are a close-knit group, right? Yeah. So you guys kind of, even though you don't all work at the same company, you kind of work with each other, you see each other.
Same industry.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, you know, you don't want that kind of stuff to get around, especially when it's not true. So he stood up for himself, you know, and he said his piece, and I felt him. Did y'all feel him?
Oh, for sure.
I felt him. And kind of to go back on the conversation that, you know, we had before, I love the fact how he had that conversation with his wife, you know, to say, you know, he wanted to make sure that he heard it, like, she heard it straight from him, and like he actually cleared the air before he even you know, approached them. But I think that that's always the best thing to do. Like, you don't want to center anybody off, you know, because you don't know specifically who said it.
Right.
So let me be able to address the entire group so that I can set the tone so that going forward, like, everybody knows not to be able to cross that boundary. And I think that at the end of the day, there's always a classy way of doing things, and I just always love the way that Andrew handles it. And it's just, at the end of the day, I also feel like that's something great for the culture to understand. Like, you know, like when you are in a relationship, I feel like men do deal with situations where women may try to, you know, show some type of attraction, but because he's in a relationship, you know, whatever capacity, fiance, whatever, he still has to keep those boundaries set. So I think that he definitely set the tone to help people who want to get in this business to understand, like, as a man, you can still be able to do what you need to do, respect your relationship, and still make your money.
Sure. So, what were you gonna say, Shannon?
I was just gonna, because you touched on it too, but how he didn't know specifically who said it, but so he just addressed everybody.
Absolutely.
He's like, I may not ever know who said it, and I don't need to know. I'm just gonna let everybody know, like, this is where I'm at, this is how I feel, so stop spreading those rumors. So
I love the way Andrew gave the background, like his personal history, foster care, everything.
That was big.
He like forever broke it down. Like, he presented a problem, and then he's like, and she's been my solution. So I love how he just kind of angled that, like, okay, guys, like, you understand where I came from? Don't mess this up, because I messed everything else up in my life. Like, this is something that has to work, and she's gonna work. She's my religion. Like, respect that.
Yeah, no, I concur with what everybody said, and I think it really goes to show that when, you know, you really, really care about somebody, you will do whatever it is to protect that, you know, whatever it causes. And that's his thing. He's like, I gotta say this because this is my world. She is my world, and everything else around me has crumbled, but I can't let this happen because I don't know what's going to happen after that. So, yeah, shout out to Andrew, because, you know, again, black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat. In America.
In America. Real quick before we close out, so Jacob, I want to talk to you about some of the endeavors you have outside the show. We see your T-shirt, New Death Row.
New Death Row. Y'all see this shit? It's tight on me. I gained some weight. But it's nice fitted cotton. You know what I'm saying? New Death Row, newdeathrow.com. But that's just merchandise. You know, I do a lot of music stuff. Okay. I got a boy group. I write. I'm a music writer. I don't really want to be a rapper, but I just want to write music. I love to write music. He's a ghostwriter. Yes. Exactly. You know, Drake need to hit me up. That's not a shot. It's just real business. You know, Lil Wayne need to hit me up. All these people need to hit me up because I'm real hot. Like, I'm just hot as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
We know.
Okay.
I also want to ask you a question too. I did a little research on you, and I know that you went to Fisk.
Yes.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about your experience of going to Fisk and just being at an HBCU.
Well, okay. Let me start from that. I'm gonna go back a little bit further to Crenshaw because I went to Crenshaw High School. Yes. And that was like my first time going to an all-black school. So I went there, and then I went to Fisk University. I got an academic scholarship to there, and I seen a lot of. That was my first time seeing educated black people. You know, like just in the. You know, it's just different because in LA, all you have is just rapper entertainers, like you know, and then you have real estate agents. That's why I love our show. So when you go outside of LA or outside of California, you see that people have careers, and it's just opened my eyes up. And that's ever since then I seen that I'm like, oh, I need to come back and show people I grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, like my homeboys just call me up. They all just graduated from there. You know, and like you know, people were really struggling with having a degrees, finding a job because they're like, bro, I know you dropped out. Like I'm talking about me. I know I dropped out, but they're like, bro, this shit, when you have that degree, they just whatever to you. So I'm like, man, like shit, you just gotta pay your dues because everything I worked hard for this real estate license. You can go ahead and do that. I'm telling them you can either do that or be a loan officer because then we all work together. Right. So it's just, and then my other thing is, I know I'm just talking a whole bunch. I want to start doing some like workshops for like the not just the inner city kids, but just like people all around. Like for like workshops, getting into real estate, getting into luxury real estate, pretty much just setting that up. You know, like I ain't trying to be famous. I'm just really trying to just change lives. That's it. Because I got a lot of love out here, and I want to just set it back.
So how do you think that the entertainment industry and being in real estate is going to come hand in hand?
Well, I'm shooting the show about real estate, and like the show, what I love about it is it's like a breath of fresh air. Because I just started kind of watching TV. I'm watching like the Love and Hip Hops. I love the Housewives shit, all that stuff. And I'm watching our show, and it's just like, man, this is like a breath of fresh air. Like you see all of us just actually with careers, people who actually can go home and be like, bro, you catch that? You think about that? Right. I'm thinking about doing real estate, bro. Shit, you doing that? Like everybody can go home and do and related to it. Right. Not everybody can relate to Love and Hip Hop people because shit, we ain't all rapping. We not all going to the club getting paid to appear. You know what I'm saying? We all working. So it's just like, man, I forgot the question. I keep talking.
Yeah, this is what we want. No, this is what we want. We want you to be able to talk about your other endeavor because we know people have things going on outside the show. Yeah. So we definitely want you to be able to talk about that and promote that. I went to Morehouse briefly, so I know about the HBCU situation. For sure. Seeing that education because it's crazy to see. You know, being a person of color and seeing so many people that look just like you.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like in suits and owning business. And it's crazy when you come from the hood or you come from poverty or you come from a situation that's less than. So, yeah, man, shout out to that. Let's get into predictions real quick.
Yes.
Real quick,
like 10 seconds.
This is all we have left, huh?
That's it. The countdown.
All right, 30 seconds left. Y'all better tune in.
I think Jacob and Sarah, something is going to go down with them, but I also think Taylor and Jacob are going to make up.
Oh, okay.
Taylor's my homie, man. That's really my homie for life. When I seen that scene, she said, I love that kid. I was like, bro, I'll beat everybody up for Taylor. That's my homie.
Yeah, I know. I can feel that. That's why I knew you guys were going to make up soon.
I definitely believe that Taylor and Jacob is going to make up. I think Jacob's going to pass his exam.
I hope so.
Those are my predictions for right now.
Yes.
Okay. So last episode was all about getting into it. This episode was all about making amends. So I love that. I think everyone will make amends. Even Taylor and Ty in the future will make amends. I think Jalissa's going to be straight on Andrew and the Anjani rumor. And I think that Andrew will create boundaries for Anjani so that nothing is insinuated in the future.
Word.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I concur with all of that. I think that I'm excited.
I'm still listening.
Right. Yeah. That coffee, boy. That coffee got it. He got it. He ain't cold no more. He's good to go. But yeah, I think definitely I'm interested to see. I'm just curious to see how this Jacob and Sarah thing pans out, because I think that's going to be shocking for a lot of people. I feel like Andrew is going to have newfound respect from everybody. I still think though, because I feel like Anjani is kind of perpetuating a little bit, this whole rumor, because she does feel him. She likes him. Right, exactly. And she didn't make that statement. It's like, y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying? So insinuating like,
Guess she was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, how that continues. But I feel like, the rest of the cast will respect the situation. It'll be interesting to see how Anjani plays it out. So that's it. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to our guests.
Like this video right now. Subscribe.
That's right. Subscribe all day, every day. I've been your host, Lem Gonsavles, and you already know you can find me everywhere at LemGonsalves, Cape Verdean for life. Yeah. What's up? Where you at?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Angele Taylor. That's Angel with an E at the end and _ at the end of my name.
Neema Skye on all social media platforms. NeemaSkye. That's me.
Yes, and I'm Shannon. You can find me on Instagram at shenanigans.tv.
I'm Jacob Knight, but you can find me on Instagram at Suge J Knight. No H with Suge. It's just SUGE. You know what I'm saying? Because people would like to spell my name with an H.
Sugar.
Sugar. Yeah. You know, my name comes from Sugar Man. That's where it originated from.
Oh, really?
Because you're sweet.
Nah, I'm sweet like a cool guy. Not sweet.
My
bad.
Oh, man. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. We got special guests Sarah and Sam will be with us. Make sure you tune in. Get lit.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.